Good evening. I have been trying to figure out this live thing for a minute, so I'm gonna go the old school way and just record a Zoom, upload it to YouTube, and get the information out to y'all that way. Um, I have to figure out the rest of it. I stream, but it's usually on my phone, and that's a whole different process than streaming from a computer. And so there's a whole thing that I need to figure out how to navigate. So we will get there, but for now, I just wanted to quickly touch base with everyone. We did have a community roundtable today. We are back after a few months of sabbatical, I will say. There's been a lot going on since our last meeting. As a lot of you may know, we were able to get our own space, not a city building, private lease. We are in a building with the Compton Wellness Collective and Children's Driving Together. It is called the Compton Wellness Center. And we actually held our meeting there today. So it was really exciting to have our own beautiful space in the city, and not having to use other people's facilities. And we still may do that for larger events, but it's something that we've been kind of working toward for 5 years. And when I look back on everything, we started at the coffee shop on Alameda at Patria. We worked our way over to every table across the street in the shopping center. And then COVID hit. We started using Zoom and live to update folks. And then toward the tail end of like the main COVID crunch, we found ourselves in Gonzalez Park, and we would just set up chairs and people would come out and we would just talk to each other in an open space. So it was safe for everyone. And then we began hosting our meetings at Youth Build again. And then we've done a lot with them. Youth Build is an incredible organization. They do a lot of the good work with our youth, and they're really good community partners. There are so many good people in this community, and that just brings me great joy. It has been an honor and a pleasure to work with them, to work with organizations like Rising Communities, Children's Institute. Um, I mean, they're just so many good orgs doing incredible work. I have to call out Color Compton. They do a lot of work with our youth and our community in general. Um, and I hope we can see that momentum continue on. Um, and so now, like today was our first meeting in our new space. Not a lot of folks showed up. I'm not sure if people knew or know exactly where this location is, but just so you're aware, we're around the corner from Dollar General. I think that's what it's called, on Compton Boulevard. Our building has green awnings. We're across from there's like a public service center across the street in a white building. There's an Arco on the corner. Parking is street parking, so you can park in front of the building and down the block, and you can also park across the street. Um, but Popeye's Chicken is like over to the left. Color Compton is across the street. The courthouse is right there. So that's where we're at. Hopefully signage will be up soon. But I just wanted to throw that out there so everyone knew. But today, I just wanted to do a live recording to go over the upcoming election. And honestly, I feel like people are tired. There's just been so much going on the presidential level. There's been some very contentious races on our local levels. And I know that a lot of folks, when I talk to people, they're like, I can't wait for this to just be done and over with. With that said, it's still really important that you vote. So I created a slideshow for today's meeting. I'm going to share it now just so it's out there and people can use it or not. But if it'll help you, I know a lot of people have already received their ballots. Everyone gets a mail-in ballot. That's the rule now. I know I got mine. Most of the people I know got theirs last week. So you should have yours. If you don't, you may get it this week. So I'm going to try to share my screen. Hopefully technology cooperates with me today because it was not earlier. But, okay. So this is, hopefully you can all see it. This is our slideshow. I'm just going to go through the slides quickly so you have this information. This picture is actually from one of our nonprofit empowerment events. We just had another one last month where at the end of the event, we gave people who attended free laptops thanks to Youth Build and Cal State Dominguez Hills. So these are incredible events. And hopefully we'll be able to do another one next year. So this is us. This is our tiny, small but mighty team. We were founded in 2019. We're a grassroots organization, and we focus on education, activating and empowering the residents of Compton and surrounding communities. Our work is not just with Compton, but it is our primary focus and what we were founded for. It's really important for us to provide connection to resources, critical information, because sometimes it's hard to navigate all of the information coming at you. We do empowerment workshops. We'll be setting up some leadership workshops soon. And we lead with a solution-focused dialogue. So we don't just want to come into meetings and complain. We actually want to talk about possible solutions and ways that community members can build relationships with one another, with elected officials, and how to advocate for themselves and their neighborhoods. So that is why we do what we do. So everyone should have received your vote by mail ballot if you're registered to vote. If you have not, or if you're not sure if you're registered to vote, please go to lavote.net or lavote.gov. You can go to either one. And check your status. You can check, it'll tell you. There's also a system called Ballot Tracks that actually tracks your ballot. If you haven't received it, it'll tell you if it's been mailed, all that good stuff. So this is some quick information. So once you receive your mail-in ballot, you can return it by US mail. It's postage paid. Throw it in the mailbox, drop it off at the post office, whatever you feel comfortable with. My general advice to folks, even though it's not illegal for a candidate to pick up ballots, just to keep everything above board, I would not hand my ballot to anyone unless it's a postman, a postal worker, if it's going into a mailbox or a drop box, or you can drop it into a vote center. If you like the act of voting in person, you can also take your ballot with you and do the machine thing at a vote center. I've done that. I think I did that last year and the year before. So here's a little bit more of that information. The easiest method to register and vote is online at lavote.gov. You have until October 24th, according to this. I've heard October 21st, so let's just go with the October 21st date to keep it, on time. But voters must register to vote by October 24th to receive a vote by mail ballot for this election. Like I mentioned, you can check your voter registration status at lavote.gov/BR status, or you can call. If you prefer to call, you can do that as well. If you miss the October 24th deadline, you can still go register and vote in person. You'll vote conditional voter registration, but your vote will count. I was going to say something else about that, but we'll just keep going. And if I remember, I will say it again. So if you've moved, if you've gotten married, if you got divorced, your name changed, if you want to change from Democrat to Republican or Republican to Democrat or vice whatever, you can update your registration as well at lavote.gov. If you've moved out of the county or the state, you can cancel your registration or visit lavote.gov to download the cancel registration form and then register in your new location. So the ballots, as mentioned, started going out October 6th. Most people have received them. You can do the Where's My Ballot, california.ballottracks.net. The address is there. They will give you free automatic notifications by text, email, or voicemail. You you choose what you want. I get text updates, so I knew when mine was mailed. If you need to look up any information like ballot drop box locations, in-person locations, but we will talk about that later, you can go to lavote.gov and get all that information there. And then the register you need to sign your envelope. The back, I don't have mine in front of me. There is an area for you to sign and date. You need to make sure you sign that envelope or they will kick it back. And that's how they verify your voter registration and confirm your eligibility to vote. So keep that in mind when you're completing your ballot. Make sure it's sealed before you put it in the mailbox. Sealed, signed, and dated. And you're going to enter the date the ballot is returned. It says if a voter enters their birth date instead, the ballot will still be processed. And once verified, it will be counted. You can return it now. You can throw that in the mailbox or the ballot drop box now. All ballots must be postmarked or returned to the drop box or the vote center by election day. The register will accept ballots postmarked by election day and received within 7 days after election day. I don't know why this thing is not moving forward. So quick overview, ballots mailed out 10/6. Early voting sites open 10/7. Ballot drop-off locations open 10/8. That's the drop boxes. And the vote centers will open 10/26. So this is you can register the date of, same day registrations available. Voters will conditionally register and vote via provisional ballot during this time. So once election day is here, polls will be open until 8 p.m. on election day, which is November 5th. They will start tallying the votes on that day. So vote by mail ballots returned by mail in order to be counted must be postmarked on or before election day and received by your county elections office by November 12th. More important. So we should know what is going on. A statement of vote certified by the Secretary of State, December 13th. So we'll see, as we have in the past, like every few days, they'll have a schedule of updates and they'll update every few days on the votes as they're counting. So on the ballot this round, locally, you have District 1, District 4, and the city clerk offices that are up. So District 1, if you are in District 1, if you don't know what district you live in, your ballot will tell you because you'll have a District 1 or a District 4 on your ballot candidate. But you can also go to comptonadvocates.org and go to our resource page and look at the districts and figure out where you are, or you can reach out to us if you need help. But the District 1 race is between Deidre Duhart, who is the current councilwoman, and Jasper Jackson, who is a paralegal and block club leader. That's kind of what I know about him. But he's run for other offices in the past, so he's not a new face, and nor is Miss Duhart. So that's what you're going to see if you have that District 1 race on your ballot. For District 4, you have the current councilwoman, Lily Darden, who has had a long career with the city of Compton, and Joel Estrada, who is a businessman and does have his Juris Doctor. I think that's what it's called. And then your city clerk race is between the current city clerk, Vernell McDaniel, and Satra Zarita, who is also a Compton Unified School District board member and a retired City of Compton employee. Her sister, Jana Zarita, served on the council for a period. Her mother also served on the council back in the early 2000s, I believe, or 90s. Don't quote me, you can look it up. And then Miss McDaniel, she has been employed with the City of Compton for a while. She worked under the former city clerk, Alita Godwin. So she has been with the city for a while as well. You will see measure CA on your ballot. This measure, I added the current language of the city charter, which states that the city attorney has to be licensed under the state of California, in the state of California, and shall have been engaged in the practice of law for at least 3 years prior to his election or appointment. This position is currently an elected position that is voted on by residents. The city council is proposing to make the city attorney an appointed position similar to the city manager, where the city council would select a candidate and appoint them to that position. They're also adding that the city charter be amended to make the city attorney the requirement 10 years of municipal law experience. So if you have any questions on that, let me know. Go to the next one. You will also see measure CC for the Compton Community College. This one is to repair, construct, and acquire educational facilities, sites, equipment, yada, yada. You can read it. It is to authorize $2 million in bonds, and this would increase property taxes $20 per $100,000 of assessed valuation. This passage requires 55%. Most items need 50% plus one to pass. This would take 55% of the votes cast to pass. The Assembly District 65, our current representative is Assemblyman Mike Gibson. He has served for a while. I believe this will be his last term if elected again. He has served and has done a great job. We have someone new on the horizon that is running against him. Her name is Lydia Gutierrez. I honestly don't know too much about her, but please feel free to do your research on these candidates. For State Senator District 35, some familiar faces. You have Michelle Chambers, who is a former councilwoman in the city of Compton. She is running, as well as Laura Richardson, who also has served in various positions, I believe, in Congress. You can look up both of them as well. This race has been quite contentious. I feel like my mailbox is constantly getting hit with something. It's wild. There's like this one, there is this one. So I'm sure all of you are being inundated with paper right now. So this is one of the races that I feel is generating the most paper. So please do your research and feel free to reach out to any of these candidates if you have specific questions that you want answered. Honestly, your candidates should be able to show up and answer questions that you may have. We did have a candidate forum last Monday. Candidate forums are always a good opportunity for candidates to get in front of their potential constituents and build that rapport. So just pay attention to that and attend a candidate forum if you can. I don't know if there's going to be another one soon. You're also going to see quite a few propositions on your ballot. So I'm going to let this sit here for a while. Prop 2 authorizes bonds for public school and community college facilities. These things you should have received. Oh, I'm so sorry. It's been a long day. You should have received a sample ballot. And then there's also these things that's like a official voter information guide. I have these. If you want one of these, please let me know. I can get you one. They're pretty thick. They're like 144 pages long. But when it comes to the propositions, these have all kinds of detail on the proposition, so you could do your research if you're not sure about something. Um, so if you want one, please let me know, message me, and I will get you one. And I have some coming from the Register Reporter's office as well. So I will have those on hand for whoever needs them. Prop 3 is the constitutional right to marriage. So this is amending the California Constitution to recognize the fundamental right to marry regardless of sex or race. So it's going to remove language in the California Constitution stating that marriage is only between a man and a woman. And that's really it for this. I don't think it has any fiscal impact. It's just changing the language so that it supports equality. Prop 4 authorizes bonds for safe drinking water, wildfire prevention, and protecting communities and natural lands from climate risks. This one authorizes $10 billion in general obligation bonds for water, wildfire prevention, and protection of communities and lands. It does require annual audits. So this is a bond. Most of the time, bonds mean something's going to go up somewhere for us. So just do your due diligence when you're, deciding what you're going to vote for on these items. Prop 5 allows local bonds for affordable housing and public infrastructure with 55% voter approval. So this means that certain local bonds and related property taxes could be approved with a 55% vote rather than the current 2/3 approval requirement. So it kind of lowers the approval percentage that's needed. And these booklets, they do list who supports, who's against these things. There's like a pro and con argument, and then this is just like the summary and the quick view of them. But you also can go deeper into the booklet, and there's like 2-page arguments against it. You can also look these up online. There's a legislative analysis webpage that also gives you more information on these. You will see Prop 6 eliminates constitutional provision allowing involuntary servitude for incarcerated persons. So this will amend the California Constitution to remove current provision that allows jails and prisons to impose involuntary servitude to punish crime. An example, forcing incarcerated persons to work. So here's your pros and cons on that. Just to note, we are a nonprofit 501c3. So I don't tell people how to vote. I just give you the tools so that you can do your own research and make the decision that you feel is best for you and your family. Prop 32 raises the minimum wage. So for employers with 26 or more employees, it will raise the minimum wage to $17 immediately, and then it will jump to $18 on January 1st, 2025. If the employer has 25 or less employees, it will go to $17 an hour on January 1st, 2025, and $18 on January 1st, 2026. So that is basically an increase to minimum wage. Then you have Prop 33 expands local government's authority to enact rent control on residential property. It repeals the Costa-Hawkins Rental Housing Act of 1995, which currently prohibits local ordinances limiting initial residential rental rates for new tenants or rent increases for existing tenants in certain residential properties. So here it lists the fiscal impact, the supporters, the opponents, and then, as I mentioned, if you go deeper into the pamphlet, it will give you a little bit more of an analysis on this. Prop 34 restricts spending of prescription drug revenues by certain healthcare providers. It requires certain providers to spend 98% of revenues from federal discount prescription drug programs on direct patient care. authorize the statewide negotiation of Medi-Cal drug prices. So this one, I would also advise doing a little reading and then voting the way that you feel is best. Prop 35 provides permanent funding for Medi-Cal healthcare services. It makes permanent the existing tax. So there's an existing tax on managed healthcare insurance plans, which, if approved by the federal government, provides revenues to pay for Medi-Cal healthcare services. So this would make that existing tax a permanent tax. But once again, please do your due diligence and read up on it. Prop 36 allows felony charges and increases sentences for certain drug and theft crimes. So this one allows felony charges for possessing certain drugs and for thefts under $950 if defendant has 2 prior drug or theft convictions. Sorry. So here, this one is kind of a hot topic one too for a lot of folks. So I would advise you doing your research on this one and then making a decision that you feel is best for you. There are also a lot of voter guides. If you're a Democrat, you can look up like the Democratic voter guides. Google search will bring that up. If you're Republican, you can do the same. And there's a bunch of voter guides that you can pick from and kind of just go down the list and see what they're recommending as well and what their analysis of these propositions are. One good tool is Vote 411. It's vote411.org. So this one, you can do a lot on this. You can register to vote, you can check your registration, and then if you enter your address, it'll actually pull up everything that you're going to see on your ballot. And in some of those categories, you can drill down and it'll give you more information on the candidates. Candidates can fill out a profile and answer certain questions, and you can kind of click and see what they had to say. So I would highly advise using this. The ballot drop box locations in Compton, there are 3. There's one at the Compton Library, there's one at Gonzalez Park, and there's one at Looters Park. The one at the Compton Library is probably the more difficult one to access because you have to park and then go into the library. Gonzalez Park, you can just drive up and it's by that main building in the front. Looters Park is also, you can drive up and just drop your ballot in that box. Ballot drop boxes are safe and secure. If I use a method to drop off my ballot, it's typically a ballot drop box if I don't go in and do my ballot using the machine because they're safe. The ballots are picked up by the register recorder's office only, and they take them where they need to go. So don't be scared to use them. If there's anyone standing outside of the, I saw this on TikTok, so I'm going to bring it up. If there's someone standing in front of the ballot drop box with a bag telling you to just drop your ballot in that bag, don't do it. Just drop it in the box or take it to another drop box. But as I mentioned, just to be safe, don't give your ballot to anyone. And this year, I know in past years, Compton has had several locations that you could go vote in person at. It looks like this year, we only have Dollarhide Center that is offering in-person voting. So that's located on Tamarind. It's behind Foot Locker in the center there, or it's behind it. It'll open up on the 26th. So it'll be open from 10 a.m. to 7 p.m., 10/26 to 11/4, and then on election day, it'll be open from 7 a.m. until 8 p.m. If you are in line, you're already in line, the rule is, even if it turns 8 o'clock, if you are already in line, do not get out of line, stay in line, and you can cast your ballot. The key is you have to have been in line prior to 8 o'clock. So just so you know. Also, so we only have one location in Compton, but the way the rules for voting changed over the past few years, you can vote anywhere in LA County. So you can use this vote center lookup and you can go anywhere as long as it's in LA County. You're not restricted to Compton anymore. So if you work somewhere else, if you work in Whittier, If you work in downtown, if you work in Torrance, you can look up a place near your job and you can go in and do what you need to do there if needed. So that was it for the election. I will be doing my recap. I'm going to go back one before I get into that. I will be doing my recap of last week's council meeting probably tomorrow. I have to go through my notes again because a lot went on in that meeting. They gave a lot of infrastructure updates, and I want to make sure that I have the key items so I can update you appropriately. But we do have some upcoming things coming up with Compton Advocates. So we will have a CPR, Stop the Bleed, and AED session. That is going to be a free event. I am going to give you the date because my brain is tired. Let's see. So October 29th at 6 p.m., we will be doing the CPR, Stop the Bleed, and AED free session at the center. On Saturday, November 16th at 9 a.m., we're going to do a senior safety course. They're going to talk about medications, fall risk, and things that are specific to our senior citizens. We want to make sure that they're healthy and that they have what they need to stay safe. So that'll be on November 16th. We'll be posting that one soon so people can start to sign up. And then on November 20th at 6 p.m., we're actually going to do a CPR that is actually the certified CPR for those who need to get their cards. So I know they're typically like $85, I think, if you go through the American Heart Association to get your certification. And we are doing this with a connection that we made with St. Francis Hospital and a provider that will come in and do this work. So this one will be a discounted rate of $35 to get your CPR card. And that will be on November 20th at 6 p.m. And the sign up for that will also go out soon. And then we're working on a senior bingo night. More to come on that one. We also are co-hosting. We're working with TEDx Compton Boulevard to do a salon event on 11/3 from 12 to 3 p.m. We'll be facilitating a conversation about democracy. And then we are working on doing a Thanksgiving giveaway with Greater Zion Church on 11/24. So stay tuned for that. And more stuff will come up as well. So make sure to follow us. If you tend to miss our stuff, then set up an alert on your Instagram so it'll pop up whenever we post something. We'll also be doing a gift card giveaway soon as well. So that is coming up. And I know those are usually things that those lists fill up really, really fast. So if you want to set alerts, that's probably a good thing to do. And that is all I have in regards to the election. As always, let me see. My email is candace@comptonadvocates.org. You can email us at team@comptonadvocates.org, or you can message us on Facebook or DM us on Instagram, and we will answer if you need help. Please feel free to also use our website, comptonadvocates.org. There's a lot of information and resources on there. And that is all I have. So have a great night, and I will connect with you all soon.